Hey guys, what's up? It's Doombreaker here and I'm here with another tutorial for you guys. This is the third episode of my Visual Basic, the Basics series, and today we are going to talk about variables. So I went ahead and I already made a project. So what we are going to do is double click the form, and this will bring us to the form load section. In my previous videos, not in the basic series, but in my Visual Basic tutorials, I talk about the form load section a lot because it's a much used section. So everything that's in here is going to be executed when the form is loading. So when the program starts and the form is loading, all this is going to happen. So today we are going to talk about variables. So what is a variable? A variable is a certain value that can change in the course of your program by using math or whatever. So let's start by declaring a variable. So before you can use a variable, we need to declare it. We can declare it in the form load section, but we can also do that here. So we declare it by using dim, then a name for our variable. I'm just going to call it variable as, and now it needs a type. So you have different kinds of types of variables. So first of all, we have string. A string is basically text. So for example, variable is equal to hello world. Now the variable has hello world in it. So basically whenever I say message box and now type variable instead of hello world, what it's going to do is it is going to show hello world, because our variable that we used here contains hello world. Okay, so we can also use an integer. So an integer is a value that lies between, well, there is a maximum and minimum value, but it's kind of long, so you can look that up if you really want to know it. But it is basically number without commas. So it can be, for example, 48, for example. And if we want to use it in here, so message box variable, I think it might work. Yes, it does. But to be sure, you can also type variable dot and then to string. What it's going to do is it's going to convert the integer to a string and then display it. You don't always have to do it, but I recommend you always do it just in case. So you have an integer. What you can also have is a dim variable as a Boolean. A Boolean is kind of a special one. It only has two possible values. It can be either true or false, as you can see here. So true or false. True has a value of 1 and false is 0, so you can always type is equal to 1. True, and if you convert that to an integer, it's going to be 1. Variable 1. Okay. So as you can see, it's equal to 1. This means that the Boolean is now true. So keep that in mind. Then we also have, instead of Boolean, a char, which is basically a character on your keyboard. So it can be A, it can also be B, it can also be K, it can also be G, it can also be colon, it can also be 5, it can also be whatever, but it is a character on your keyboard. If you want to assign a certain key to your character, you need to use those quotation marks and put a in between, and then we say variable 1 to string is going to show us a. So let's move on. We can also have a byte as a byte, and that can be a variable from 0 to 255. So that's a pretty important number that you might want to keep in mind. Then we also have date time. As you can see, oh, I just put that in the wrong place. Date time as so. And if you really want to get a date in there, so let's use date now, because date time is the type, but it is either date or either time. So let's declare variable 1 as date, and then say in the form load section, variable 1 is equal to system dot date time dot today, today, and then variable 1 to string. This is going to show us the current date, and the time is always 0.00 because we haven't defined that yet. So that's all for that's all for the dates. I'm going to go a little more in depth on the dates in a future video, but you can also have a decimal, dim as decimal. So you can guess that a decimal is, for example, 1 comma, I don't know, 56 or 78.5354 or whatever. So that's basically a number with a comma. Then you also have a double, a long, an object, a short, a single, but that's kind of not important right now. So the ones I showed you now are the most important ones. You have other variables, but I'm going to teach you what those mean in future tutorials. So, and yes, variable 1 doesn't exist anymore. So if we debug that, you can see it says 78,5354. So this was variables. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how to change variables in code. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to drag in a button, 2 buttons, and a text box. So the text in a text box is some kind of variable. Now a little test. What kind of variable is the text in a text box? I give you some time. If the answer was a string, then you are correct. So the answer was string, of course. So button 1, I'm just going to type in check var. So check the variable, and then here change var. We are going to declare a variable dim text as a string. Okay, text 1, whatever. So text 1 as a string. Then that is going to be equal to default or whatever you want. Then when button 2 is clicked, this means that text1, the variable, is going to be equal to textbox1 dot text. So what this is going to do is it's going to erase the value of text1 and replace it with whatever is in textbox1 dot text. Then in the check variable we are going to type message box and then text1, so it's just going to display text1 in a message box. So if we debug that and we check the variable, you can see it's default because we named it default right here. And if I say Doombreaker is awesome and then click change var and check var, it's going to say Doombreaker is awesome because the variable has just changed. So that's kind of everything about variables that there is to know right now. I'm going to go a little more in depth in some later videos, but for now this should be everything you need to know. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please click the like button below. If you like my stuff, please consider subscribing, it helps me out a lot. And I see you guys next time. Bye.